Yo, what's up, everybody? Eyecee here, and welcome to my Week 5 Monday Night Football showdown take between the Cleveland Browns and the San Francisco 49ers. So, before I get right into it, I just want to mention check out my other videos. I got top 5 quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, tight end, and defense videos, as well as 3 to 4 showdown takes a week: Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and a primetime afternoon or early game on Sunday. I don't always get those. But yeah, that's what I do. And like, comment, subscribe. I recently started doing this about a month ago almost. I appreciate any advice, input, insight as how I can improve, how I can grow, what I could do to get better. And without further ado, let's just get right into this week's picks. So, to be completely honest with you guys, I don't really like this slate. At first look, the 49ers side is very confusing. There's a lot of things to go over. But the Cleveland side is a little bit more straightforward, so I'm just going to start with that. Things to note here is San Francisco is one of the best run defenses. However, they're middle of the pack when it comes to pass defenses. Every week so far, out of the 3 weeks they've played, a receiver on the opposing team has done damage to them. And they've managed to limit the run game against their opponents. However, their opponents didn't have any top caliber running backs like Nick Chubbs. And with these things in mind, I really like Nick Chubbs as my top captain play tomorrow. He not only has a running game, he also has a passing game upside. He's been targeted 19 times in the year so far. He's made 17 out of 19 catches. He averages about 7 yards per catch. And he's coming off of a fantastic week where he defied expectations against a Ravens team that people thought were a lot tougher. Clearly not. Nick Chubb's in play here. He's in form. I really like him versus the San Francisco 49ers team, who I think might be a little caught off guard with the week off. So with that in mind, Nick Chubb's my favorite captain play here. Second favorite captain play would be OBJ. He's coming off of the most crap week he's had in a long time. He dropped 5 catches. He was targeted 7 times, only made 2. 4 fantasy points. Unacceptable. Only 1 good game this season so far. I think against the 49ers, who have been giving it up to receivers. OBJ finds his stride here, has a good game. He's up against Richard Sherman, and Richard Sherman's been good so far this season, which is another reason why, if you don't like OBJ, I would highly recommend going to Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry also is coming off of a good game, saw 10 targets, more targets than OBJ. The matchup is better. I think he gets the weaker defender on him. He'll be open more in finding space more often than OBJ, in my opinion. It's just OBJ has a slate-breaking upside, whereas Landry is a more modest player. I do think Landry is in prime position here to get it done, and he would probably be my third favorite captain on the Browns side. So with that said, the only other guy I'm considering as a captain on the Browns side is Baker Mayfield. I play quarterbacks 10 to 15% of the time in my captain spot for these slates. He hasn't had a great season so far, but 2 out of 4 games were decent, and I'll take a 19 or 20. Albeit, I wouldn't like that in a captain spot, but I don't think this game is really high scoring, to be quite honest with you guys. I think it's more in like the 20s, low 20s. So, with that in mind, I like Baker Mayfield here. I think more than the runs, there'll be passing touchdowns thrown, and quarterback will be correlated with the receivers that I'll be playing, obviously. So, any lineup with Landry, OBJ, I'll have Mayfield in them. I also have Mayfield in the Chubb lineup because he's receiving upside, but less than I want with but not all the time with Chubbs. With Beckham and Landry, I'll have them 100%, but with Chubb, I won't be playing Mayfield 100% of the time, but more often than not. So those are my favorite plays in the captain position for the Browns. Notable flex plays that I want to mention here are, you could definitely play the Browns defense tomorrow. They're in play. They've done well the last 3 weeks, so you'll definitely be happy against the Rams and Baltimore's teams. They did pretty well. So I expect them to do well against the 49ers team, who's been pretty tough defensively, but not one of the better teams. Seabird's been good. He hasn't missed a kick so far this season, and you know me, I love kickers. Kickers are always in play for me, so this guy's in play. I feel the Browns don't finish all of their drives tomorrow, and they have to resort to kicking more field goals. He's kicking an average of 2 field goals a game, so I like him tomorrow for sure. Definitely in the flex spot. And then this guy is probably my favorite flex play, Ricky Seals-Jones, coming off of a fantastic week against the Ravens. He was targeted 3 times. He's the tight end right now, I believe. He is the tight end. Who do they have for the tight end? So he's the top price tight end, and for good reason. He's the best pass catcher tight end they have. He's seeing around where is he? He's seeing around 30% of snaps. Harris sees more snaps than him, but this guy just has more catching upside. So I'd rather go with Ricky Seals-Jones here, but you could definitely consider Demetrius Harris. He's seeing 60% of snaps. You could consider Damian Ratley. He's seeing a couple of targets a game, although with Callaway and Higgins back, I don't know how much he's going to be used, so keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on their injuries. And then I really like Hilliard. He's used 36% of the time on the field. He's on the field 36% of the time, and he's the 1-2B option to Chubbs. They're going to go to him. He's going to get opportunity, and at this price here, 27, that's a captain price, so he's even cheaper. At this price here is definitely in consideration. It'll allow you to play a couple of studs, extra studs, I should say. So yeah, those are my favorite plays on the Brown side. So captain eligible, OBJ, Nick Chubbs, Baker Mayfield, Landry. Those are my 4 captains, with Mayfield being my least favorite captain. And then flex players would be Browns defense, their kicker, Ricky Seals-Jones, the top tight end in my opinion. Higgins returning from injury, Hilliard, and I'd give some thought to Demetrius Harris just because he sees the most snaps out of all the tight ends. Doesn't really turn to much, but he does, so have to consider him. Alright, moving along onto the Giants side. Not the Giants, the 49ers. I don't even watch baseball. Where did the Giants come out of my mouth from? Alright, Jimmy G. Jimmy G has not had a great start this season. Let's be real. He hasn't. I don't think he has a great day tomorrow, passing wise at least. I don't think that happens. He's almost thrown for 300 yards in 2 of his 3 games so far this season. He's throwing around 70%, making 70% of his throws. It's just he's been intercepted every single time, and that's the main reason why I have the Browns defense in play here. I feel like they can get a defensive fumble return, interception, even a defensive touchdown tomorrow against the 49ers, or might be a little slow with the week off. But Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely, I'm going to have him in some captain spots. He too will be my least favorite captain on this side of the field, but he's going to be in play because he's the quarterback. I don't think this game is a really high scoring game, so I think the quarterbacks in one way, shape, or form are one of the top 6 scoring players on the slate, either or, depending on your scenario. So I like Garoppolo. My favorite captain pick on the 49ers would be George Kittle. However, this guy is just seeing a lot of targets. He's on the field almost 95% of the time, so he's always on the field. He's always in an opportunistic position to perform. He's my favorite captain player on the 49ers side. But aside from him, I do like I like both Marquise Goodwin and Deebo Samuels. Goodwin's on the field for about 60 to 70% of the snaps, and Deebo's around 50 to 60% of the snaps. Deebo's performed a little bit better so far, but Goodwin's right up there. Easily could be the guy that does it for the 49ers today. So while I won't have these guys heavily in my captain spot, I will consider both of them in some capacity. My second favorite captain on the 49ers would be Matt Breida. He's the better running back out of the 3 that they have, Mostert and Jeff Wilson. But Breida's a safer pick. He's getting targets on a consistent basis. He's also targeted a little bit. It's increasing every week. So I like Breida. He was the most used running back last season for the 49ers. I expect that to continue for good reason. But a sneaky play I like at captain for the 49ers, a sneaky play is Jeff Wilson Jr. Yesterday's showdown slate between the Chiefs and the Colts, some fucker named Pringles that was $200 Draftkings dollars was the winning captain. Pringles. I hovered over his name. I didn't give him much thought, but that guy was the winning lineup. He was 1.8% owned, and it just seemed like if you had him yesterday, you were in the top 100 spots no matter what in GPP yesterday. I think something similar happens to Jeff Wilson here. Since the start of the second half of last year, Jeff Wilson has been heavily utilized in the San Francisco's offense when he's been given an opportunity. Jeff Wilson's in a prime position here to show up and show off against the Cleveland Browns. The first 2 weeks of the season, he's been targeted around an average of 9 times. He makes good games, but he's gotten 2 touchdowns in both of those games. He's a big go-to guy for Jimmy G when they're in the red zone. He's not that great at throwing, in my opinion. He's a starting NFL quarterback, but I can see him deferring to guys like Jeff Wilson and Breida tomorrow at the line, especially considering the Browns' defensive line here. It's not that bad. The Browns' defense is actually pretty good. So I feel the 49ers opt to run the ball more often than none tomorrow. And I feel the running backs will be in play, particularly Jeff Wilson at this price here is someone I really like. I will probably have 5 to 10% of my lineups with Jeff Wilson. I play around 100 lineups, so that means I will have 5 to 10 lineups of Jeff Wilson as my captain. I love the price. I love how he's been playing recently. And I just like the fact that so far this season, the top captain has usually been a third option half the time. It hasn't been the first or second wide receiver running back option majority of the time. It has been a wide receiver running back that's been the top captain a majority of the time, but it's usually the third option. That's what I've been seeing so far this season. And Jeff Wilson here is clearly the third option, especially with Coleman back, although he's going to be limited. I don't know how much minutes Coleman gets, but I don't think he gets much. I think they stick with Jeff Wilson. If last year's an indicator of anything, they like this guy. He's already proven himself to the 49ers organization, and they will continue to use him. He didn't play week 1. Why didn't he play week 1? So yeah, he was on the practice squad, and then he got promoted. So I think he stays. He's proven himself the last 2 weeks. So he's one of my cheap, sneaky, sort of captain viable plays here that I like. So I'm going with him, and then I don't know. After Jeff Wilson, so those are my favorite captains. I like Kittle the most. Top favorite captain is Kittle, then Breida, then in some capacity of Deebo Samuels and Goodwin. My sneaky play would be Jeff Wilson, and I'd have a little bit of Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, that's pretty much everybody, but it's a showdown slate. Everyone's captain viable. It's just who you think is the most viable. In my opinion, it's Kittle here, based on his usage, matchup, and all that. But my sneaky heart of heart play is Jeff Wilson Jr. here. He's very cheap, allow you to pick more studs in your lineup. So I'd probably go with Jeff Wilson, to be quite honest with you guys. But yeah, other flex plays here, all the guys I mentioned are flex viable. Mostard, a little bit of a down week last week. Look for him to pick it up, in my opinion. He's in play. The kicker's in play here for sure for the 49ers, but I don't like the 49ers defense. But their kicker I like. I feel like he should definitely be able to put up like 8 Draftkings points. In any case, I feel like a kicker tomorrow will be one of the top 6 or 7 fantasy point producers tomorrow. So I like both kickers. If I had to pick a kicker though, I would probably pick the 49ers, because I know I said I feel the Cleveland Browns don't really finish their drives, but that's mostly because I feel like they're gonna get more drives. They're just not gonna, because they're gonna get more. They're not gonna be able to finish more. But I feel San Francisco on average is not gonna get to finish most of their drives. I feel like the kicker is heavily gonna be involved, and if it's not the kicker, then Jeff Wilson is doing something right, in my opinion. So I like the kicker here as a flex play. Another guy I like here is Pettis. He's seeing 42% of snaps. Targeted 5 times last week. Let's see if that continues. Very cheap play here. And then who else is there that I like? That's about it, actually. I don't really like many other people here. It's just a tough slate in general. San Francisco is just all over the place, especially there's only a 3-game sample slate, and they had a couple of injuries to key positions. It's tough to figure out who's going to play. But my heart of heart tells me Jeff Wilson is going to be a solid play here. So play him at your own peril. But for me, he's the guy that I really like. But yeah, captain, probably my favorite captain overall would be Nick Chubbs. And then if I wanted to get kinky with it, I would go Landry. And then I would go OBJ now that I've talked myself out of it. So Nick Chubbs, Landry, and Odell Beckham Jr. would be my top 3 captains. On the 49ers side, it would be Kittle, Breida, Jeff Wilson. And then I'd go with both quarterbacks. I'd go with Mayfield over Jimmy G for sure. I'd probably go Mayfield over Matt Breida and Jeff Wilson as well as a captain. I don't really like the 49ers, but they can put up points. Their quarterbacks due for a good game, in my opinion. So it all depends on the scenario you're going with, right? Like if you make lineups based on scenarios, what you think is going to happen in the game. High scoring game, blowout, tight game, defense is in play, kickers in play, quarterback just throwing it to everybody, so the quarterback ends up doing better than everybody because everybody else is spread. Make a scenario, make a few scenarios, make a lineup based on your scenarios. And yeah, that's it. This slate's going to be a pretty good one, in my opinion. It looks tough, it looks hard, but those are the ones that are the best, in my opinion. That's the ones you make money on. So with all that said, guys, good luck this week. Good luck today. Good luck week 6. Check out my week 6 videos that will be up later this week. Check out my other videos. Actually, no reason to because they're all outdated now. But look for my other videos. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I could do better. And until next time, guys, take care. Goodbye.